there'll be enough ability to check how things are. So, we as such had planned to discuss internal security today. And in the morning itself, an incident has taken place which has shaken a lot of people, and the internal security, even of the celebrities, is being questioned and discussed because these kind of incidents have increased in number. So that's a very big challenge that the countrywide we're facing. And us security professionals, a lot of you I know are security professionals yourself, we all have to not only fight for ourselves, but we have to fight for everybody. We have to make sometime policies, upgrade security procedures, have additional tools, so that any and everything that can go against us, our families, friends, companies, offices, is stopped. And only looking at one situation, I know all of us security professionals face a lot of different things, but let's look at just the crime, and this crime is surely close to our houses, close to our offices. In the year 2022, India registered around 60,96,000 FIRs. We all know the first information report, which is registered by the police. 1 year, 2022, we had 60,96,000. In 2023, the numbers reduced a little bit. It was around 58 lakh something. And mind you, this doesn't include all the complaints which given to police, which are not converted to FIR, which are only given as complaints and then maybe settled there or moved out of the system there or maybe whatever else. And then thirdly, mind you, this doesn't include a lot of small things which you don't even go to police and say, yes, I faced a problem. Including sometimes you losing 5,000 rupees on Paytm, you don't want to go there because the time spent to do complaints and trying to follow up can be humongous. So when we are in an era of 60 lakh plus FIRs and a lot of other complaints and a lot of other situations which have not even reached FIR, that's a big factor to look at. And one FIR can have more than one accused or more than one finally criminals, right? So that's a pretty scary situation. And so with the backdrop of internal security being discussed, and thankfully we have Dr. Vikram Singh, the top man to address this issue itself in every possible manner, and he's been doing it for years and years, and that's how for his lot of good work, as per the Limca Book of Records, he's the most decorated police officer ever. So with that backdrop, sir, I was just, the way I mentioned, there's more than 60 lakh FIRs in 2022, 58 lakh plus in 2023, and a lot of complaints not even becoming FIRs, and a lot of people not even doing a complaint. And when we're looking at internal security, the crime situation itself looks scary. And we have the audience, mostly they are security professionals themselves, and they address these challenges. They are soldiers on the other side of the criminals who are trying to stop them. But as of now, with this little bit of a gory situation, and surely not that I want to say that life of a common man is less costly or less important, but definitely VIPs make more of news and they have more of security. So if they are breached, obviously that means the common man is far more vulnerable. So with that comparison, with that backdrop, us security professionals and every citizen of India, which side to look for security? So you're on mute as yet.
Good evening, Gary. Good evening, gentlemen. A wonderful question, but the age-old saying, self-help is the best help. You mentioned millions of FIRs being lodged and none of them reaching the logical conclusions. And the FIRs that get lodged, as a guess, what is the percentage of the actual crime figures that get translated into FIRs? And those that get translated into FIRs, how many end up being charge sheeted? And those that are get charge sheeted, how many end up in convictions? And those that end up in convictions, ultimately, the ultimate punishment is given to the accused. I would say that today, if an FIR is lost, the probability would be that it will be taken up after about 10 or 12 years. If at all the FIR is lost, if at all there's a faithful investigator, if at all there is. The criminal jurisprudence is designed in a manner that once a person is involved in crime, whether he's acquitted, then there is a question of history sheet and an active list, and he's put on surveillance for a lifetime. There is no provision of destroying a charge sheet unless the accused dies. But that being the case, the ground reality is that it is brazen. In Bundelkhand and many parts of the country, they say, how has been the harvest this year? So they would say like this, 1 or 2. I have got enough money to commit 1 or 2 murders. I mean, that is the level of equation that if I've had a good harvest, I can get away with 2 murders, I can get away with 3 murders. So coming down to the brass, what are we supposed to do and where are the solutions? The solutions are that the private security has a job to perform, and the private security, along with the law enforcement agencies, will have to dovetail and double up almost like a police security or a government security. Then also it has to have its own database. And the good news is, I gave you the bad news, the good news is that the police may not be aware of the futuristic technologies like AI-enabled CCTVs, AI-enabled drones, and also AI-enabled robots. You must have heard of AI-enabled canines in the Kumbh Mela, robots. If that be the case there can be a time, and there should be a time, when we could have, if we had an AI-enabled canine robot, I think we could have been much better off than what we are today. But that is a distinct possibility we can work on. And this is a possibility that our own criminal intelligence, our own system of double check, a person goes right up to the 12th floor in a reasonably secure area of Bandra, Mumbai, and then rises, it is said, as of now, that he went up the fire exit route and came down via the stairs. He had a knife in his hand. What was the security doing? If the private security was supposed to be there, I think there was a pretty sloppy job done by the private security of Saif Ali Khan. I'm very disappointed by the performance. I had expected that they would be a force multiplier. To the contrary, they probably left everything to the society security, and the society security left everything to the police. At the end of the day, each dependent upon one upon the other, and as they say, as blind led by the blind, all end up drowning themselves in the sea. And Saif Ali Khan, fortunately, is safe. He's out of danger, but that is by God's mercy. No security can claim that because of the positive and proactive action, Saif Ali is safe. Saif Ali is safe because perhaps of the prayers of his family and providence. But what we can do, Garry, are the international best practices that we have to have our own network, our own intelligence, and a security that is invincible, fail-proof and foolproof. And who better than you can say it is technology, technological input, as also the futuristic technologies I just mentioned, and also staff that is reliable, that cannot be bought off. Today, the Mumbai police has picked up the entire security apparatus of that building. The maid is being interrogated. How come this man reached the area? It is said that his house was being, the floor work was being, he probably concealed himself in the room of the son. But then if the entry was of 10 people, then exit should also have been of 10 people, not 9. And if it was 9, there should have been a warning to everybody what happened to the 10th person who did not come out of the building. I think somebody messed it up and there was a massive slip up, and that needs to be plugged in. This could be a good study how it happened. Now for us and those who are involved in security, they need to magnify all the hazards multiple times and see with a magnifying glass what better intervention is possible. Prevention is better than cure. As also I said that there was a question from leading TV networks. What can the family possibly do? First, they should understand what their legal rights are. In the right of private defense, I can use proportionate force to contain one or more person to defend myself or somebody person till the time that risk is there. Now, the $1 million question is, what are the tools at hand? Pepper spray, Then in Amazon, there are one or two contraptions with a folding about 4 inches, a press of the button, and a huge and a very strong iron rod emerges that can be used. But in the moment of crisis, that Amazon contraption may or may not be in my hand or even be in the close proximity. The probability is that we can have an alarm bell in every room. Another possibility is that we could possibly have some kind of thermal images that, if anything bigger than the size of a huge dog enters the home, that can give a red flag that somebody is intruding into the premises. That could be a possibility. The third would be also that the use of a speed dialing of number 112, and that could be a compulsory as a rehearsal of security briefing. Everybody cannot be expected to be a ninja warrior. Everybody cannot be expected to be a black belter in karate. But what we can do is to rehearse in such a situation, what am I supposed to do? Divert, digress, bluff, shout, throw a crockery, throw a cutlery, but do something instead of being a sitting duck in front of an assailant. Garry.
So thank you so much. This one answer actually is quite a compendium itself and covers all Gita Gyan for security, because it not only your answer has raised a question on the private security setup, which always has been proudly boasting that we can do the job. So that's a very, very relevant question, that what exactly was the state of affairs on their side. And thank you for putting all these points in terms of how exactly the security has to be dealt even within the house. And I do remember a lot of time when we have been briefing international travelers to certain countries. We even say that please carry mugger's money. And more people say, what does mugger's money mean? We say, even if you're doing shopping or whatever in those countries, keep this much money in your pocket. And if somebody is going to quickly get a pistol or a knife in front of you, have this money to hand over. This is mugger's money. This is not your shopping money. And also it is to be done in a manner, handed over in a manner so that it ensures your safety, because they're not there to hit you. They're there to take money. So if you're able to ensure they get whatever money and they let you go, I think that's what possibly has been your recommendation, which is very valid. But at the same time, sir, this is a case being discussed all around. But this is a situation which happens pretty much to a common man who cannot possibly sometimes afford a security apparatus, equipment, and those details. Where do you see, is there a possibility of, well, I don't know if that person can even adopt fully a private security, but life and safety is everybody's privilege and I will say even right. So in that situation, means how do we bring these two units together, public security and private security? Because gaps between them are gaps in the society or gaps in the security.
A very good question. Now, almost every society, anywhere in the country, especially in the larger towns, I don't say metropolis, they do have it, but even in smaller cities, I mean, say even something like Prayagraj or even Agra or say Meerut, all the societies now have a system that they have gated communities, and they have doubled up that 100 houses would contribute to a private security, and they have a gated community. They have their own CCTV network. How best to upgrade their CCTV network, make them intelligent, make them AI enabled, make them what is known as SARS, SARS, Suspicious Activity Reporting System. The vendors, the rediwalas, the other, maybe at given point of time, those who come when the men folk have left for work, or the men, both the men and the women have left for work, only the babies are at home. At that point of time, who are the main visitors? Identify the vulnerable areas, the vulnerable timings, and the suspect people who are visiting the locality. This is known as Suspicious Activity Reporting System, and machine learning will incorporate all the suspicious activity and give you data within 15 days, what best and what will work for a particular locality. Then the watchman, then the security staff will have to be briefed. What is the security dynamics and what is the roadmap and what are the options available? To what extent force can be used? Minimum force, as they say in every case diary of the police when they arrest. हंगामाए गिरफ्तारी में मुनासिब चोट पहुंचा के गिरफ्तार किया. That munasib can mean anything, starting from just an abuse right up to making a pulp out of him so that he goes to the hospital in a wheelchair. that is all munasib chot pahuncha karte. What is munasib would depend upon the degree of threat to the other person. And then, apart from telling him what the law book allows him to do, also how to use a lathi, how to use a lance, how to use, although it is good to have a weapon and not use it, then not to have a weapon and have a requirement after that. How it is good to have a gunman with the gunman has all, I mean, put, I don't know, all kinds of cotton wool on the barrel and has not used the gun for the maybe last, was his wedding anniversary, then perhaps it is of no consequence. Buys cartridges that are obsolete, are out of date and have expired. It is good to have and check on the cartridges also, their marksmanship, the ability to shoot straight and take the recoil. All these things will have to be understood. And also, who are the people who can possibly attack? What will be their attire and the people? There are those that are predators who from across the border, nimble-bodied teenagers who can just wriggle into the fireplace and can wriggle into just a small crevice that they can make in by removing a window. Those people are suspicious. Then those people who perhaps travel raddiwalas, they are basically doing recce for somebody else and they would know on 3 recce's if there's somebody in the house or not. And broken window syndrome, that I throw a stone at the window and if nobody emerges, I can assure that there are no inmates in the house. And these are the telltale things that one can say that these are vulnerable areas, these are not so vulnerable areas. The points and the point of time where the incident can happen. We shortlist this, allow the CCTVs and AI-enabled CCTVs, have an intelligent control room, howsoever rudimentary it may be. But an intelligent control room is the key to most of our problems. Garry.
Thank you, sir. Very, very relevant. I will encourage if anybody has a question, just type it within the question pad or within the chat because sir has to go back to the next TV show. Thank you, sir, for able to take out a little bit of a time between other important commitments and interact with the security community here. But before I get any typed question, maybe a short one and maybe a short answer for this one and some of the others. As of now, the police continues to be a state matter. And there is a lot of opportunity with the local police, how they handle security. I always see security as a national matter. How do we at least stick it together? Because one state thinking about, and even if this is so relevant, because if you look at the number of FIRs, crime rate, conviction rate in state to state differs so much. How do we make it a national matter?
Garry, well put. Security is no longer even a national matter. It is an international matter. We had the talk of Lawrence Bishnoi gang operating not only in Punjab, but in also there was suspicion that Lawrence Bishnoi gang operating from right across the border and impacting the crime situation, not only in Punjab, the NCR, but also in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and UP as well. Then the terrorist activities, the Al-Qaeda, the ISI, they're all international. So to say that crime is circumscribed only by district and state boundaries would be, in fact, landing yourself in a very serious trouble. I mean, that would be living in a fool's paradise, if I were to say. But yes, it has dawned on the police that interstate coordination, national level coordination, sharing of intelligence is now has been standardized in the manner that that is a standard operating procedure. We cannot live in silos of thanas, police stations, districts, or even states. At the national level, there has to be a synergy, sharing of intelligence, because if we don't do it, we are courting the recipe of disaster. But I'm happy to say and advise that the police bodies and the police of all the states are now eagerly awaiting actionable intelligence and where they can contribute to containing a situation and having an effective and an efficient law and order machinery and situation.
No, thank you, sir. I have a type which has come in. I'll just quickly, I know that you have a hard stop in 2 minutes more.
Sure.
I'll just take 1 more minute, sir. And thank you for also putting a very strategic thing which is needed by India. And thanks for saying that it's an international matter, not a national matter anymore. But just final word on all the security experts here, and maybe some of us who are not experts, but they have logged in to listen to you for their own safety. Any final word on how do I end up being more safe and also end up creating the environment around me more safe, sir.
Just a one-liner. I have to be a generation ahead of the underworld. And to be that one generation ahead, I have to be the best in technology, optimum use of futuristic technology, keep the antenna high, and have the intelligence and never be taken by surprise. The day I'm taken by surprise, I've already lost the game. Thank you, Garry.
Thank you, sir. Thanks so much. That's exactly the time. I know you have to leave and join another session. But thank you so much, sir, for logging in and joining us. Very, very